Welcome, Nerf fans. This is John, Thomas, and Charles from ContainmentCrew, and I'm tired.
Bye-bye. Well, since he's going to bed, we'll just let you know this is another midnight, mid-summer session of modding. And hey, we've got a Slingfire.
Well, I'm not so sure about modding. We're all pretty tired, and we know what happened with the Centurion. So I think this, I think this time we're just going to do a teardown and keep it at that. So we're going to start pulling the screws out, and we'll get back to you when we get it open.
So while we're taking this apart here, we've got this big screw that's much larger than the others that we found, and you can see that's quite big compared to one of those little screws.
It looks like for the most part all the other blaster screws are identical in size.
And that is what it allows us to do. Stock comes right off, and there's a screw hidden right behind it, which, yep, you can easily see right there. So we'll get back to unscrewing this and come back to you when that's finished.
And there doesn't look like there's anything special about this stock piece. There's no functionality to it other than it being a stock, so we're just gonna set that aside. There's no reason to pop that open.
Alright, so we're back, got it all unscrewed, started to pull it apart and hold the jam door and tack rail out. Let's get this open all the way. There's one last screw just kind of sticking there.
Okay, so
Plunger Tube is standard size for the elite stuff. It's nothing special. I'm telling you guys, this bolt sled looks a lot like a modified long strike. It's got a tooth mechanism in here though.
oh, I can't get that out. Just leave it sitting there for now.
Oh, I got it. And look, it's a leaf spring type as opposed to the conventional spring. So it's one piece now on the tack rail here. Let's see if I can get that on to stand up. So it has a leaf spring that flexes to keep it up. That actually should keep us from losing the springs in those things.
Not that we don't have a bunch of them, but I'm just gonna hold this up so we get a little closer view in there. But as far as basically what we've got going on here, we've got the bolt sled. It looks like we've got a gearbox sitting back here. Our main catch is here, spring holder, and then this whole thing is just to move the trigger. Other than that, we've got a clip lock, and this part up here just looks like it's for the dart door. So let's just start popping more out and see if we notice anything interesting.
There's a spring in here that activates what looks to be a lock.
This thing should function apart like this as long as we hold this together, because it looks like this the gearbox is down. So.
That right there.
Yeah,
is
it's just the ratchet
mechanism.
Is that actually? Oh, it didn't catch. But is that actually? I don't think that's supposed to slip like that. Is this a clip lock? That's the clip. Is that the release or?
That there is locked in place. That's the release right there for the mag lock. So that's what keeps you from popping a magazine in and out without this handle all the way forward.
Okay, so is that supposed to ratchet like that, or that actually just seems a little odd to me. But I'm guessing it's. Just seems like everything's flexing really weird.
Well, it's having fun with that spring.
Oh, okay. So yeah, when it comes forward, it rotates all the way around. So we didn't prime it all the way before, but it actually rotates all the way around.
And then disappears up behind the gear mechanism.
Yeah, and then it just lets it pop back, and then when it goes back, it should. Yep, there. It just locks back into place like normal. And the trigger should fire. So the trigger should fire.
The trigger won't fire because it's not all the way back. Is it? No, maybe it is. What's keeping you from pulling that trigger?
It's not all the way back.
Nope, now it's all the way back. There it goes.
The trigger. So, other than the gearbox, this really isn't too complex.
It's nothing different than any standard new Elite product. I mean, you've got simply your regular bolt, which holds the dart, the plunger tube, the catch. They have a spring retention plate here, which allows the plunger rod right there to slide through it. And let's see if I can reset this. Hang on real quick.
Yeah, I think it just
No.
Oh,
if you hold it down, now you have
wants to. Yeah. Just with the gearing of this though, it kind of has to go all the way.
Yeah, so I can definitely see spring upgrades being very simple. That one's fairly weak. The lock removal would be very easy on this. So
I just want to see if this is the only thing that keeps it from rotating both directions. Yeah, that's the only.
Yeah.
That seems to be the only lock that keeps it from rotating. So there
And
you go.
that's
the I guess the partial prime lock.
And where's the trigger lock? It's got to be back in there.
Well, yeah, it's on the back side. So let's pop the gearbox open, and we'll be back after that.
If you notice, there's like this little nub on that gear. No, behind the pin. You see the nub there?
Oh, okay.
That it rests against. Oh no, it's not really in the way at all.
I'll bring this up so that if anybody else takes it apart, we can get a good look at the gear orientation. Actually, I keep forgetting that the viewfinder's flipped. So, all right. So, because the whole thing looks like it just lifts out.
Well, we'll pull it one gear at a time, and it kind of does. There's that one, and then this one, which has two, very stiff springs on it.
What did that do?
It came off right there. That pin just drops through.
Which saw? Was there another? There was another one.
There's one more. See.
Okay.
I'm gonna see, since I already have it out, if we can see just how stiff this spring is. It is.
Okay, this is.
I mean, I can't even compress it with my fingers, and my fingers are quite big.
This is okay. So with the springs off this, it's.
There's a pin. You need the pin for this one.
How's this orientates like that, right?
That orientates like that.
And this one's on top?
In the middle.
In the middle?
In the middle, like this, from my orientation. And then I'm pretty sure that's. And there's this spring, this gear here. That's a part of that too.
Okay,
so there's actually
these
2 gears on this one axle. This gear and this gear. And don't forget, I have one of the springs and one of the pieces. And if it pops out on you like that, the spring drops in there.
Yeah, it looks like this does go back together fairly easily. But I'm guessing this is to... Yeah, it's notched on this side, so this is to help keep it together. The handle goes in like this, and this gear sits on top. Alright, so...
Yep, there you go.
Okay, we're gonna just set that aside. Let's not play with that. So, then underneath this...
We might as well remove this trigger, because this is just a basic...
There's no...
Yeah, there's nothing special other than some
Okay, so
custom
the
molding.
whole spring and return is completely on that part.
And it looks like, I'm going to be very careful when I pull this up, but it does. It's a unit. There, it looks like 3 pieces, 2 plastic parts, and then a spring in there.
Okay.
So let's not let that get separated.
Okay.
Might as well. No, let's get the cap off so we can get any stress
so
off this.
Take the stress off the spring. And that just...
Yep.
Was that
straight out?
Was that screwed in? Because it looks like there's posts there.
There's no screws on that.
Okay.
Yeah, there's definitely threadable posts. So you can tell that the factory never threaded them.
Okay.
So eventually they may put screws on it, or they may have decided that there was no need.
So this catch seems like it's still fairly well locked down.
It looks to be locked down by the bolt sled.
So we'll just...
Which...
Okay, there's something running on top of the bolt sled. This is the...
Here.
Okay.
This here...
Watch
It's
out,
the
there's
lock.
a spring. There's a spring on it.
That's the lock that keeps you from pulling the trigger. And it has a very, very long spring.
There's a retention plate for it too. So that, okay, that all comes out.
Yeah.
Alright, plunger tube itself.
And it even has a place to sock it, if I can show, on that so that it slides right over.
So plunger tube itself, it actually looks very much like a lot of the Elite Blaster plunger tubes.
Yeah, let's see if we can just slide it out
It's
the
a
way
little,
we can.
just be careful. It does have that ring on the back to keep you from popping it out.
I'm not pulling this one out. This one's much tighter than the others.
Same plunger head as probably the Elite Alpha.
Yeah, this definitely has the same
Yeah, it
plunger
kind of
design as the Elite
Yeah,
Alpha.
it kind of looks like that. Just the plastic's a little different, and it still has this back cap on it.
I haven't seen this new black one before, though.
Well, down there, it's still got the recess and everything. O-ring on the bolt here. The sled itself is 2 pieces. The front half of it does look very reminiscent to a long strike, but the whole thing's been modified. This
definitely
back
changed.
piece has all the parts for the gear mech on it.
There's some sort of spring on here that doesn't really...
That a lot of the blasters have that as part of the locking mechanism to it.
Yeah.
Usually related to the half prime lock, I believe.
It still has the same standard air restrictor that every other blaster has of late. Just noticing that the spring is off a little bit. Just wanted to straighten it out. I don't think we're taking that out anytime soon.
So the another thing to note about the catch, though, is the catch is actually tabbed into the shell. It doesn't just slide out, it's actually tabbed in there. So that's interesting. Front side, it's got the dual piece dart tooth. It's got the little door that the Alpha Trooper, I think, was the first one to have that, and then it's got the standard one that the bolt sled pushes out of the way that has been present in all the blasters since basically the long shot and the recon.
That dart door was a vast improvement over the old style dart tooth, though.
Yeah, it's still funny that they use both of them, but I guess it's it's to keep
the dart door is held by the short dart tooth.
Yeah, I know that. But just I guess to get the initial push on the dart, but yeah. Okay. Other than that, I mean, is there anything else going on?
No, it's
pretty
nobody
much
brought
it.
an upgrade spring, did they? I have the one in my Rampage, which came out of one of those Busby bows.
Yeah. But I think the next step is to reassemble, and we'll be back with some conclusions.
So I finally figured out what is going on inside this mysterious piece here, why there's 2 springs, and it's great because these guys haven't figured it out yet, and I'm actually kind of surprised. So I'm going to pop it open real quick. And there they are. And as you can see, there's notches for those little orange pieces, and they have springs on them. I'm not going to push them because they'll pop out. What my friends here haven't noticed, and I'm quite excited because I get to reveal something new, is that this is the mechanism that allows the handle to slide forward when the blaster is already primed. So if you try and prime it again after it's been primed, it makes a nasty crunch sound, and then the handle slides forward and slides back normally. I'm fairly certain that this is the mechanism that causes that, instead of locking it in place, which would account for the shape of the teeth on this, because it has a very, very stiff spring in there.
Is there a slip indentation on? No, there isn't.
We
So
didn't
how
do it
does
on
that-
this one.
How does it function then?
Watch. These just simply slip over
Yes.
and line up, and then you have to wonder, what's the point of that? I don't know if I can put enough torque on it, and I certainly can't because my hands aren't strong enough to overcome these very strong springs. But what happens is, enough pressure is put on these very, very slightly rounded pieces here, and then they pop inside under the spring load until they catch back in place on their tooth.
Okay guys, just wanted to jump back in here because I noticed a couple of things while putting this back together. Number one, the handle here. We were originally kind of concerned about the strength of this, and hopefully we can see this on the camera, but this actually appears to be a piece of metal coated in plastic, so it should actually be a lot stronger than what people are making it out to be. Number two, I was just looking at the gears as I was placing them back in, and there's actually alignment marks on the gears to show where they line up. So, if you're paying attention, this really shouldn't be too hard to get back together. I just wanted to throw that little note in there, and we'll be back again. Oh, this lock is supposed to be advanced above the bolt sled, like that.
Okay. It's something I can't see at all from
Yeah.
where I am.
It's just bad angle. This is all the way forward. That's all the way in position.
Okay, it's dropped
Okay.
down.
So now, where's the? There's the shelf for this.
And then just torque it down real quick.
All right. So, okay, there we go.
And there it goes,
Slow
priming
motion.
beautifully.
Okay.
Now it's all the way
And,
in, and the trigger.
Yep, I just gotta drop the trigger back in, which wasn't screwed in right. It just
No
yeah, it
screw.
just sat like that. So
Mm-hmm.
okay, I went back together really easy.
Much better than the last blaster we took apart and put back together up here.
Yeah, we didn't film it going back together, so there's no proof that it went back together. So says the internet.
There's proof enough. It's back together, and that was before you could get them.
Has anybody seen it?
We showed it together, but we didn't show it going back together. It floats free just like that.
Yeah, there we go. There we go.
The ratchet and click is so much more satisfying with the blaster open.
Yeah, it is.
That.
Oh, okay. That's what the That's what the little spring piece on the bolt sled does. Is I know in the what is it like the Rampage and the Alpha Trooper, they have that like slip where after you prime it, you have to hold it all the way forward.
Yeah, it
Because
keeps it locked forward.
Yeah, the dart tooth will push it down. That's what this little thing is doing. It's keeping it. You see how it jumps into that little spot there? And that just helps keep it in that position if you take your hand off of the priming handle here. So, that's that. I don't think there's really anything to that. I think it looks like it's just an additional piece of plastic on there for no reason other than they wanted to make an extra mold. It's just holding that little tooth that helps it snap closed. There's absolutely nothing to that part.
I like that new.
Yeah, this is actually that's actually really good.
I'm sure it made it cheaper for them, but
Yeah.
let's be honest, this makes it easier for us too. We don't have to worry about it flying everywhere every time we pull these things apart.
So, if you listen really closely, you can hear Charles snoring in the background.
Where do you go?
He's out over there.
15 feet away on the couch.
Alright, so Slingfire, incredibly fun blaster. I can't do any tricks, but yeah, incredibly fun blaster to use. Actually, not nearly as complex as some of the others and what some people were originally saying about it. But I do see some mod potential in there, and maybe we'll see this again sometime in the future. But otherwise, incredibly fun. There's just something real satisfying about that. Can't explain it, you gotta try it yourselves. But while I'm tripping over a chair. It's 3 in the morning. Time to go. Bye.
Oh God. You can't see your face, John.
What? I know.
That's unfortunate because that was a great
Yeah.